Talofa, love everyone. Today I have the esteemed privilege of welcoming the also Daya to our podcast today, to Loud and Brown episode today. I've known the also for a bit now, but let's just say he's a jack of all trades. He's a singer, he's a dancer, he's an actor, he's a performer, and amongst many more. But I don't want to get too much into it. I'll let the also introduce himself. Thanks for coming through and sparing up your time for us also.
Thank you also. Thanks for allowing me to come into your space and just to have a bit of a conversation around each other's journeys, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Talofa love everybody. My name is Daya Sao Mafiti. I am half Samoan, half Niuean. My father comes from Samoa, the island of Savai'i, which is a beautiful place, very beautiful place. And he's from the village of Ngaukawaii. My mum's from Niue, and she's from Alofia Nakupu. That's pretty much my Pacific background. I'm also part Tokalauan, which majority of the people don't know, but I don't know much about that stuff. So yeah.
No, all good, man. Like I said, thanks for coming along, and you got there's not really that many Niuean friends that I know, and I've got a small circle of Niuean friends, so it's always good to get someone to. Well, this podcast is I want to get as many people from the Pacific Islands, and it's good that you're here to represent the Niuean culture as well. So we'll go through some stuff today, and obviously discuss a bit about your journey. But before we get into that, obviously being 2021, looking back on last year and the events, I know that yourself, you traveled overseas and came through, so came back and you had to go through a quarantine process. So with 2020 and COVID, what was that process like for you? So explain how that was for you, obviously coming back.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. It is a very, very surreal moment, man. I'm telling you, 2020 is for all of us. We all definitely hit a brick wall. I mean, despite what it was, whether you were an independent business or self-employed or whatever it was tough for all of us. And being a performer as well, it made a cut to our auditions. We couldn't even travel overseas to do any acting.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it was hard, but at the same time, I think us as individuals, it's up to us how to take those events in our lives, and there was also a lot of positive in it as well.
Yeah,
a lot of us got to spend a lot of time with our families, which I know for you as well. I'm also working long hours at work, and we tend to lose time with our kids, watching them grow up. But going back on 2020, I was very, very fortunate to go to Sydney and shoot the season 2 of a program that I was part of called Hardball.
Yep.
And that's part of ABC Me. And it's pretty much a tween show based on a New Zealander and his son, solo dad, who flies over to Australia for a rugby contract. So, i.e., I was playing the rugby player. I know a lot of those people out there who's going to be watching this is like, that guy can't run a ball for crap. But that's the joys of being an actor. You can be whatever you want, really. So, yeah, it was a very good experience for me, myself. We shot season 1 in 2018.
Yep.
So, having that said, that's 2 years apart, having to shoot season 2. But yeah, it was a great journey, man, and I enjoyed every bit of it. But yeah, and saying that, with COVID in place, Sydney was
tough.
Very tough. A lot of that hand sanitation and wearing masks on set.
Yep.
Having that bubble. It was very hard to get used to because it kind of takes away from humanity. Us naturally, especially as Pacific Islanders, we love to embrace each other with hugs, handshakes, and we had to cut all of that out. And then kind of started feeling like a bit robotic, if you ask me. But but quarantine itself, when I had to come back and isolate, I know. Funny story. I come back to New Zealand for my 2-week quarantine, and my partner and my family, my kids, my dad's calling me and they're excited to see me after 6 weeks. So I went into quarantine, and on my last day, I was outside him in conversation with one of the guys who stayed in the same building.
Yeah.
And we were just outside reflecting on our time there, talking about the food and, all these positive things. And then I said to him, look, I'm going to go back to my room and pack my stuff for tomorrow morning. He said, yeah, man, take care. And he reaches out and he shakes my hand. And I was, us, like I said, naturally we just shake their hand because he put his hand out. So I went to my room, and about 3.5 hours later, I'm in my room doing my workout, and I hear a knock on the door. And I was like, that's strange, they've already delivered dinner. Yep. So I look for the people, and there's 2 army guys and another man, who looks like a medical person. Yep. I thought to myself, okay, open the door. Hey, how's it going? And they're like, it's come to our attention that you shook someone's hand. And I was like, try to think hard, and I was like, yeah, I think I did. They're like, okay, cool. You're going to stay here for another week. I was like, me being me, usually I think it's a joke. So I was like, funny. I used to give me my discharge paper, and they was like, no, you're staying another week.
Yep.
So long story short, I lost my nut. But anyways, I ended up spending almost 3 weeks in quarantine. So, I think, those kind of things can happen. And I learned a big lesson from that. I mean, not the fact that not to embrace and love people, but it's more about understanding the consequences of all these policies that's been put into place, despite whether you're with it or against it.
Yep.
So, that was pretty much the events that took place in my 2020 that I could remember.
Yeah.
To end it.
No, that's fine. Because I did reach out to you in terms of coming through to the podcast, and this was I think in the time that you were in quarantine as well. So and then we had that conversation. So it's quite tricky, that one, because like if everyone's in the same bubble space and you have all been tested and it's come through negative, despite what the lapse time is for when obviously the disease actually comes into fruition and being effective, but like if you guys are both tested negative, man, like the thing for me with this whole with the government and how they've treated COVID, obviously I'm happy and blessed to that we're still carrying on with life compared to the rest of the world. But at the same time, like situations like that, like it's like full tilt. It's 100% when it comes to enforcing it. But like the process itself, it's still up and down. Like just like for that instance, like one handshake. But if you guys have been tested when you get there and then tested again and it's still negative, I still don't understand why you would, And the reason why I bring this up as well is because I think it was Israel's Adesanya. He was in quarantine as well, and he was like going off about like obviously the enforcement procedures, but at the same time, like, there needs to be people on site, like medical assistants, especially when it comes to mental health. Like you like you said, bro, you lose a nut, man, because like you're like a couple of hours from freedom, and then they just whack on another week. What do you reckon? There should be more people inside, like people to go and sit down and talk to and try.
It's funny you brought that up, because that was actually one of the conversations I brought up with the person who was in front. So I left it, they walked away. And I sat in my room for about, say, 20 minutes. I tried to cool myself down. And I was just reflecting on, was it my fault or was it their fault? I don't know. I don't get it. Same thing. Tested negative. But anyways, I went downstairs and I asked to speak to the medical advisor. So I did. And one thing that really got me, and I never thought about this, was I asked him, does it matter that I sanitized my hands straight after I shook his hand? Because I did. I said, check the cameras. I came straight inside and sanitized. He goes, those sanitizers don't work. And that's from a medical advisor. And I'm not pointing fingers at, all these, people or doctors and stuff. Of course, they're great people and they're great at their jobs. But I think a lot of the things that they've put in place is contradicting as well. And I think that's where the confusion is. Like, for example, because we're talking about coronavirus or COVID itself, and while we're on the subject, I also think about the fact that wearing the masks and all of that, I understand the protocols around that. But if that is so deadly and people feel like it's deadly, I'm not putting fingers, but why do our masks go into normal rubbish bins rather than biosecurity rubbish bins?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's very contradicting.
Yep.
And for him to say the hand sanitizer doesn't work, then it's like, then why are there hand sanitizers in every shop? Or, keeping our distances. I mean, distancing and all of that stuff was another confusing thing. We had to stand 2 meters apart in line when we were at the airport. And then we get into the airplane and we're 1 seat apart.
Yeah.
And then they're passing the food to pass over.
And it's still breaking within the 2 meter bubble.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
And like I said, bro, I guess we just kind of have to ride the wave for as long as it goes until the wave crashes.
Exactly.
And hopefully we can find land.
Yeah, yep. No, I 100% agree with you on that one. It's all, what do you call it? Foreign territory, eh? Like never in my life did I ever think that we'd ever experience a pandemic, eh? Like, it's serious as when they shut down church or shut down life, shut down work, eh?
Yeah.
But no, it's good to see you still bounce back up on your feet, and like we'll definitely obviously expand further in terms of your journey and your acting career. But no, it's good to see that you guys shot the season 2 of Hardball. I myself, was one of the lucky ones that got to watch the first 2 episodes on YouTube before they took it down. But no, it's a great TV show and it's a great kids show, and I just wish hopefully they do get to expand it over here onto our shows, or at least put it on one of the online platforms like Netflix or Disney or something like that, because it's too good of a show to not even be released in New Zealand, which is shocking. But it is what it is, I guess, with all the TV branding and all the trademark stuff. So no, all good. So we'll move on to the next section. We'll talk about a little bit about your upbringing there. Obviously, I know you're a Southside boy heart, and there was another reason why I wanted you on board is to obviously showcase obviously your talents and explain to us your story. But tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what that was like for you.
Oh man, I grew up in Maguia, born and bred in Maguia, and I've got 7 brothers in my family. I sit right at the bottom, so I'm the second youngest.
Yep.
But family of 7 boys, no sisters. And man, I can just imagine how hard it was back then, being a parent myself. Now, I've only got 2 boys. And I'm still struggling myself. But life was much harder back then, and I always think about how much of a superwoman and a warrior and a hero my parents are. Every time I reflect on the way we've been brought up. It was rough. I remember growing up in a street called Cranmere Crescent. And, it was just like every other street around Maguia. It was full of gangs. And we saw it firsthand a lot,
Whereabouts is Cranmere? That's the one near Centre Park?
It's off McKean Street.
McKean Street, that's the one.
So I was lucky enough to be 500 meters away from a school, which I attended from kindergarten all the way up to college.
Oh, yep.
So I was at Southern Cross campus for a very long time. Myself and my brothers, but my brothers went to Maguia College. So they saw the light. My dad is actually a pastor.
Oh, nice.
And we grew up singing and playing in the church worship group. I started off playing guitar, and I moved on to playing the bass for church.
Yep.
And then I went into a bit of singing for the worship group, and now I'm on the keys.
Nice. So nice.
With all that little chopping and changing in there, a lot of people would never think that I actually can't read music at all. I actually can't read music. My son can probably read music, but not me. But that was because we were taught to learn by ear. And my dad he's a great musician, and all my brothers, all of us play pretty much the same things. But I think talking about church as a subject, I think, I truly believe as an individual, that's why I've ended up where I've ended up in my life. Despite the imperfections that we all have. And I never claim to be a perfect person, but faith is what grounds me. And I've always carried that no matter what. And I've never had to actually compromise my own values and my own beliefs as an individual just to suit other people.
That's good, man.
And that's because I owe it to my parents and my brothers. They were great mentors. They did things that I kind of saw, and I thought to myself, probably won't take that path. I'll try something else. However, the drinking and smoking did come into play with myself, but with everything else, I got to see it, having all these older brothers, and honestly, I think my dad being a pretty hard Samoan, you know how our island parents are, we're actually so grateful to be taught that cultural aspect, but in a modern way. Where he would speak to you in Samoan, and he wouldn't give me a hiding for talking back to him in English. You know what I mean? But I know back in the day, it was more respectful to dialogue in your own language.
In your own language,
I think that myself, at this age that I'm now, that's my biggest regret. That I kind of don't really know how to speak my language. Basics, but not a full-on conversation with my dad, which I would love to have. But even knowing my mum's side, I don't really know my Niuean family. But I grew up in South Auckland, and it's sad that I had to leave Mangere to Pepatoi. Now I stay in Pep.
Upgraded.
Well, it's kind of off Buckland Road, so it's kind of the same thing. But I've been staying in Pepatoi now for about 15 years.
Nice.
So that's pretty much a bit about my background.
No, it's all good. Obviously, with having a lot of brothers, was there a lot of competitiveness, or like, the old older brother, younger brother symptoms back then when you were growing up as well?
Just like every other family, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I loved about my brothers was always in a humble way. Never in a way to kind of make you feel like you're smaller. Never belittle each other. It was more of a humility pill for each other. So if someone was going, jumping on their high horse, the other brother would jump and go, "Hey, bro, I think you better come down a bit. You're being too loud or too this." And I think that's what brothers and sisters should be doing. Is to keep each other in check. That way, when you're going out in the world, you especially me being young back then, going to school, I would always think to myself, remember what your older brother said. You represent your family, not just you. So I always thought about that. And that was my oldest brother. But he's only 4 of us now in New Zealand, and the other 3 moved to Australia.
Nice.
So it's good. I mean, we're all in a good place at the moment. It's not always been perfect, but we're all in a good place at the moment. We see eye to eye. And I think, but I truly believe it's because we've all still kept their faith, and that's kept us all grounded. So,
what about, do you have any sisters?
No, I don't have any.
No sisters, so 7 brothers. So, having 7 brothers, how many grandkids are there now?
Oh, man, there's so many. So many. But having no sisters in my family, my 2 brothers that obviously everyone sees are the black sheep of my family ended up with girls. You know what I mean? And I'm always saying to them, my dad used to say to him growing up, you reap what you sow. But I mean, not saying they were ulavali or anything, but all these kids are blessings in our lives, bro. But now we've got about 5, 6 nieces, which is nice. A bit of flavor to our family.
Definitely, man. And what about your parents? They're still preaching, or they're retired right now?
My dad's still leading the church.
Nice.
Mum and dad.
Same church as well.
Still at
awesome.
The same church.
That's awesome. And how have they been during the breakdown as well? Lockdown. Sorry.
I'll tell you what. My dad actually, it was interesting enough. My dad goes on Facebook. He's not a Facebook person. But during lockdown, he took it into his own initiative and said, "I'm going to go on Facebook Live and do a preaching."
Nice.
And I said, by all means, go out there and I'll help share, whatever it is. That And it actually worked out really well. He got a lot of good feedback because he does it in, Samoan. But I've had a lot of friends who messaged me privately and asked me, "Could you ask your dad to do it in English as well, half and half, because they want to know what he's talking about." But it's almost like he didn't stop. We still had church at home.
That's the one, man.
We still did our home thing. We're in our own bubble. Dad will still do the same sermon and post it up online as well. So
No, nice. There's that was a pretty good dilemma that you brought up as well. Like obviously being second first generation. Yeah, that's what I say. First generation New Zealand born kids. What's that dilemma like for you? Obviously, with your old man being hard out Samoan and proud of his culture and his heritage, and just the language barrier. Obviously, like how you said, that your mates message through. Like, is that like a passion of yours to obviously pick up the language and the culture as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny how you've asked that, because before I came here, I enrolled for the Samoan class.
Nice.
At MIT.
Yeah.
And that was one of my goals that I've set for 2021, was to kind of learn a bit of Samoan so I can conversate to my dad.
Yeah.
But I think just looking back at Dad doing all this Samoan stuff online, I think he's trying to angle it. Well, my way of thinking is, I think he's trying to angle it in a way where when the people ask me, it's my job to answer those questions.
Nice.
But sometimes it's not a fearful thing, but it's sometimes like I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Exactly.
In case I give the wrong message. So it's like that's pretty much why I think he doesn't do it in English.
Nice.
Trying to allow us to be those guys.
Yeah, 100%, man, because that's the same belief that obviously my father, my uncles, as well as all the elder statesmen in our culture, is that is that hopefully before their time comes, that they've passed on, their culture and the language. Our language is a gift, and obviously the English language, it comes naturally because we're immersed by it in terms of through the school, as well as through work, and for what profession we ever pick up, everything is always conversed in English. So I think, like how you're saying, your dad's trying to angle it towards you. I think he's just trying to, just trying to pass this gift on to you, and it's, I know what you mean, and it's not a pride thing, but it's always like, oh man, I don't want to stuff it up, and I'm on the same case as well, and now it's good that you bring that up, man, because I'm 100% proud of you, man, for picking up a class, because that's something I'm doing as well. I've got older cousins who are fluent in the language, and they're obviously they're born in Sa, but pretty much predominantly of their life they've spent in New Zealand. So I'm reaching out, and it's awesome that you brought that up, man, because that's something that I think we all need to step back and reassess. Is that there's going to be a time, I think we all live in the now too much that we don't realize that our time will come when we have to step up for the family. We're going to have to step up for church, and we're going to step up in our Samoan community, and we better be prepared, and as much as our parents do love us, they want us to find out our way. They don't really want to give it to you. They don't give anything to us easily. They want us to figure it out ourselves, and that's one thing I hope that our generation moving forward, that we do come to appreciate it, is our language is a gift.
100%.
No, sweet as also. So obviously, you've done a lot of you've done a lot of things besides acting throughout your life and your journey as well. Where did this passion of performing come into play? Was it something in your upbringing? Obviously, you're a talented musician that you already explained us, moving up within your church band itself, but this ability to perform, where did that come from?
I can tell you honestly also, if you ask any Pacific Islander that's very gifted and very talented, doesn't matter who you talk to, I can put money on it. 80% of them will probably say Sunday school.
Yeah.
I promise you that. And I will never take that away. I'll never say it was all me, because it wasn't. 100%, because my mom was the Sunday school teacher. And she was pretty much like those ones where you're Jesus, you're Joseph, and you had nothing to say about that. You know what I mean? And if you don't perform properly, I'm going to smack your bum.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. And especially my dad, it was more like, I'd rather get smacked by mum than smacked by dad.
Yeah.
Not saying that it was an abusive upbringing, but it was more of Sunday school taught me something that I feared became something that I really fell in love with and I became passionate about.
Nice.
My first character I played was Moses. As a kid, the energy of all the other kids, they were so ma and everything.
Yep.
And me being young, in the Sunday school, I was one of the youngest. I would take the mickey out of it, but not knowing that it was a good performance. That was just me being a clown. And then gradually, as we started doing more different plays, I started asking, "Oh, can I do the main character?"
Yeah.
And then it became something where I went to school, started doing drama as an option, and then I started pulling away from music, where my passion for music was still there, but not as great as acting. So that's pretty much what got me into the acting world. And then from school, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually dropped out of school after sixth form. And I left and had a 5-year break from any performing whatsoever. I didn't do any performing. And that was an individual decision, choice I made. It wasn't nobody else, just myself. But my mum was the one who said to me, "Oh, I've got this pamphlet here, and I really think you should go have a look at it." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, why not?" So she's the one who drops me off. She dropped me off, and that was the first day I ever met Troy Tuua.
Hey, the man.
Tawai Fasavalu, Tonga Talofa, all these great people, man. I'm telling you. And first day there, they already knew each other from, say, another summer school they did. But they came and embraced me like I've been part of their family for a very long time. And I was lucky enough to even, go to that place. And that place was Pipa. Pacific Institute of Performing Arts, which sadly is not up and running anymore. However, the fruits of that place still lives on. And I know so many of these people that went to Pipa who are doing great things.
Exactly.
And, that's pretty much how I got into performing. And from that time I studied at Pipa, I was fortunate enough at the time I was 17 to be part of a dance group, which was formed from an assessment. It was a dance assessment. And the boys got together and we learned to whakaopaki to contemporary music. And we had Otto Mateo, Vili Vasangote, Sangele Savea.
The man.
And they were all good. Mills Valtongo it was such a great group that after we passed our assessment, we decided, hey, why don't we use this as an opportunity to dance and do gigs since we all love it? And I think for about 3 to 4 years, we had non-stop performing gigs every Saturday, Sundays. We got to eat at different weddings and all, And as a youngster, 17 years old, and I had all these older usos, who really looked after us. And we even got to do a Bollywood film, for an Indian show, which was crazy for us. And they traveled us to Napier where we stayed for a couple of days. But
nice.
I think all these opportunities that I've been able to be part of, like I said, it was faith got me here. And,
truly blessed us.
Yeah, like yourself also. I mean, I know that you've got a faith background, and all credit, to you for what you're doing here as well. And
appreciate also
the purpose and why you're doing it, to shine light on all our people. And it's great, man, that we can come together like this and just talk and just have a chill talk about it. So
now, also to be honest, I just like to talk. No, yeah, man, no, 100%, man. What they hasn't alluded to, if you don't know by now, is that so they formed the group 685, and I think at that time the only dancing group out then might have been. I know it was Tatal, but there were some other old school groups. I think there was one called maybe Legacy. I'm not too sure. But they were all like traditional Samoan, which is till this day is still beautiful. But obviously with the generations that were coming up, and that would have been around our generation, like the 21st, the weddings. I think when you guys came with the modern spin on incorporating modern music, traditional music, and then the whakaopaki and obviously Sasa and all the different aspects of the Siva Samoa into the modern twist on it, with a modern twist on it. Yeah, I think everyone was surprised. Everyone was like, oh man, this is mean, like this is different. And like I knew that you guys were out before Delicious came out, and I think both of you guys helped to bring up all these other groups that have come through now. And And it's awesome to see that, like, some people are still getting involved within the culture, even if it's through dance, and that's one thing that I think it's a tragic loss that obviously people had to close down, because that was another avenue for all our Pacific people to shine with their talents. And so how long ago has it closed now? It's probably
a few years now.
A few years now?
Look, yeah, a few years now. I know I think it's turned into an RSA.
Yeah.
But I still drive past that street during work time. And I've got very fond memories of, that place. Not just the usos that I've made, but also the tutors that used to work there, like Goretti, Letty Wickman, and Bells, and all these great tutors that used to be there, Sean Coy, they really did do it for the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why it worked out so well, because we had such a great, head where the body was moving in sync as well. But the usos who's come out of people, man, they're doing great things.
And that's the thing, man. Like, obviously, with people closing down, the fruits of their labor are only starting to shine now, which is quite unfortunate, because, like you said, the likes of yourself, the likes of Troy, obviously Tawai, and some of the other people that have come through the Pipa door as well. Obviously, Leki, Bob, and all of those usos that came through Pipa. Like, they're all shining now, and that could have all been, reinforcement of why we needed people, But obviously, I don't know what happened, but it's quite unfortunate that now that all of our brown people are shining now on the big stage, and obviously we don't have an institute for to guide the other people that are looking into follow the same pathways as you guys. So it's quite unfortunate, but still, it's amazing to see. Obviously the likes of like Troy and Tawai, some funny dudes, especially man. Troy. So I've known Troy since I think sixth form, and he's I still buzz out to this day. Like, whenever I'm part of, we're both part of Subway Siva as well. Just his ability to see the end, the end of a production without constructing the beginning, and that's one thing I'm amazed with his talent is he knows what he wants and how to get there.
Definitely.
But I think it was me and you that were sitting down. We were like, man, how does he see it? How does this come together for me? And then, bro, when it does, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, and I think that's a prime example of when you envision something
exactly,
and understanding the steps you need to take to showcase what you had in mind. And I know Troy is amazing at what he does, but also the crew that circles him, and they all circle each other. Lecky Burke, Bob Savea, Italia, Ida.
Yep.
It's such a great creative that the initiative is serving a purpose more fulfilling than just what money people always think, which is money. And it's got nothing to do with the money. 100% nothing to do with the money. If your purpose is clear, everything will come into fruition.
Yeah,
of course,
exactly.
Definitely. But with all those thoughts and everything else, the actions have to come into play as well. Speaking about that, a prime example is I know a lot of guys, and you probably know a lot of guys that listen to podcasts, right? Who watch podcasts, and they definitely are hearing the message of what it is that person did to get to where they are. That's cool. You understand it. But what are you doing about it? And what are you doing with that information? Because it's a different thing listening to it and doing it.
Exactly.
And I think this is the main purpose why having these podcasts like yourself also is awesome. Our people can look at each other, and rather than being that person who has tall poppy syndrome, which is very high in our society, it's more about looking at it and going, pat him on the back or pat her on the back. Praise each other, lift each other up about the great work that's happening around.
Exactly.
When opportunity doesn't come, like they say, when opportunity doesn't come, you create your own opportunity. And this is why Sawi Siva is amazing. They decided to go and do their own thing. But I won't speak too much on Sawi Siva because that's their time. And I can't wait to see them on your show.
Definitely got to sit down with them and have a talk, because I think Yeah, with those guys, so it's gonna be a ruckus of a time because they're just funny,
full of energy,
and just crack up as well. So
yeah,
no, man, I can't wait for that time as well when I get to sit down with them and obviously have a chat with all of them. But yeah, man. Obviously, within your young career, you've performed quite a bit. What's some of the highlights of your journey so far in terms of we'll start with dancing and obviously with gigging and stuff. What were some of the highlights that you remember from back then?
Oh man, I think one of the main things was seeing the differences between cultures because we did so many cultural weddings, understanding like what's different to a Samoan wedding to a Tongan wedding and the Indian wedding. And that really did open my eyes. You know, being Southside kids, even the boys in the dance group, they're from Maguia and Maniriwa.
Yeah.
And I know for sure none of them went to an Indian wedding because we don't have any. But just seeing all those different, cultural things really blew my mind. And having opportunities to meet the All Blacks and things like...
for real?
Yeah. Even like when we performed with Pipa, we went to Samoa.
Oh, for the test?
Yeah.
Nice.
For the
Nice. Yes, I remember that.
All Blacks versus Samoa. We welcomed them into the airport, into Samoa. And like even the Samoans who were from Samoa watching us perform, they all thought we were Māoris, but we're not. You know, we were all mixed group. But those moments are moments that you literally take to your grave also. Like that feeling of adrenaline and looking at those next to you and knowing where you started from. You would have never thought that you got to have that opportunity to see that. Because all I remember is my dad on a 12-inch screen Mitsubishi TV in a big lounge. You know?
Yeah,
the smallest TV, my dad watching the All Blacks games growing up. You know, and those are humbling moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It may not be something where I wanted to be an All Black, but it was something that was significant because my dad is still an All Black fan, 100%.
And I'll tell you this, bro. Like the thing that I appreciate with our parents so much now that obviously we're older and we are parents ourselves is that they appreciate the smallest of things. Like, I tell you now, you give that 12-inch TV to your dad, he'll still watch it off there.
Yeah.
Like, it's... like my dad, he's in the same boat in the sense, like we still got our first washing machine lying at the back. We try to scrap it, he goes, no, that's our first washing machine. Like, it's... Like, with them coming over with nothing, whatever they got is everything to them, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I think that's what we've lost as well now in modern society now with all our younger generation. We're still young ourselves, but the younger generation is, I think,
the abundance of resources there.
Definitely. I mean, they've got it at the click of their hand. We've got it at the click of our fingers, pretty much. Still, but I mean, they're now in an age where do a TikTok dance and you go viral. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put out there that it's all about the likes and shares, but that's pretty much the age we're living at now. So opportunity is everywhere. Everywhere.
No, awesome, man. I know myself that you've done quite a few gigs. Obviously, you've done the Hardball. What was it like working on the John Alomo documentary?
Yeah, man. You know, like I said, Dad watching the All Blacks games. Seeing the All Blacks, dance. Yeah, man, that was awesome. I played Iceman, so being chosen to play a character like that, we all know, Michael Jones is such a humble fella, loving, very intelligent. So, yeah, man, I actually felt so great, so grateful and so privileged and honored to even be considered to play a person like him. He's such a great man, and still to this day, I still, take my hat off to that fella for everything he's done in the community and all his work. And the only person who never went to train on a Sunday,
never played on a Sunday,
and that's even that,
even till now, nothing.
That's prime example of us holding our faith and moving forward and going forward.
It's funny. It's that with the lockdown, and when we came out of lockdown, we had the first Sunday games in, I think, like probably 20 years.
Yeah.
The reason why we moved away from Sunday games for Auckland Rugby, especially, was because of Michael Jones. Because he wouldn't play on a Sunday, they stopped playing Sunday games, and that just shows how integral he was to not only the Auckland franchise but to the All Blacks as well. So now that's awesome, Musa, and I can't wait. And hopefully you do get the chance to beat him again. Hopefully they do a Michael Jones documentary while he's still here, because his story is still, I believe, unparalleled, and it still needs to be told.
Yep.
It's just quite unfortunate that during the latest stages of his career, he was quite injury prone. But man, like there's no other statue. Oh, not that I can recall, but he is the statue outside Eden Park. Asamoan Afakasiye, and he's so proud of his culture. And I hope one day that hopefully you do get that chance to play it. But yeah, man, there'll be something to watch out for as well.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Man.
Yeah. Obviously you've had a flourishing career, and you're still definitely growing, and you're growing into different aspects of your life as well, not just your career. But what are some challenges that you probably went through through gigging, or whether it be dancing, or whether it be through your acting career?
It's really funny when you ask people certain questions.
Yep.
And in your mind, because you already know that person, you're assuming that everything's all good. But mental health is real, Marcel. It's real. It's as real as it gets. And I'm sitting here and I'm all intact on the outside. But up here, I still go through those days where not now, but before, I doubted a lot of the decision making that I was doing. The challenges, in terms of challenges, I think it was more about me understanding family time, professional time.
Yep.
Understanding when to separate the two. Sometimes we work too much that we kind of forget what's happening at home. And I think that's where I'm at now, where I'm still trying to
find that balance.
Yeah, find that balance. I'm not saying I work a lot, but I think we can work on family rather than working on other things. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because mental health, when it comes to that kind of stuff, support from your family is very important.
Yep.
That's key. And a lot of the problems in mental health kind of come from disengagement in families, drug or alcohol abuse or whatever that is. I am fortunate, actually, that when I'm not acting, I actually have a full-time job. I'm a support worker at Kahui Tukaha, which is a housing and mental health organization. And I think one thing that I am very, very, very grateful for 2020 was the fact that the CEO of that place, Barbara, who's a lovely lady, approached me and had a conversation with me when I returned back from Sydney. I only been at the job for about 4 months, and she allowed me to go on this gig. No questions asked. But when I come back, she had explained it, and it was more about her making me understand that they support what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
And it's taking into consideration mental health in that whole umbrella. You know what I mean? And I think, with all those challenges that came in 2020, all the way up to the end part where I had to fly out, it really brought everything into a small bubble where I was like, oh, cool, this is awesome. You know, support's not only at home,
but at the workplace.
Yeah, there's
That's
actually
awesome.
other places out there that can actually offer you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I did go through a bit of challenges, but faith and family brought me here, man. So
no, that's awesome, man. So, and that's great that you brought that up as well, because especially with family, that is a struggle in itself in terms of finding the balance in order to put the same amount of energy that you put in the workplace that you put into your own family. I know for sure, us as islanders, I think it's just a habit that we've inherited from our parents, is that we work hard. and that we put a lot of energy in order to provide for the family. But the way the family dynamics are now is a whole lot different. It's kids now are say for us, if our parents were working all the time, that's fine because we had our siblings. But like when it came to dinner time or when it came to church time, we're all a family. Whereas now, I'm not saying the kids expect a lot more, but it's just the way they're raised now is that they need you physically there. They need the energy from you, and they need your presence there in order to mature and to grow. And that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that with us. And and that's awesome as well. I think whenever you can find that right balance, it brings the best in both worlds in terms of you're putting your best foot forward in your career for acting, but at the same time, when you come back, you're going 150% for a workplace that's supporting your dreams.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that actually makes me, take work extra serious, extra seriously. So because having them do that for me, honestly, so I was so grateful that they allowed me to do that. And now being back at work, I love my job.
Exactly.
Honestly, I love my job. And it's not about the paycheck or anything. It's the fulfillment of what you do at work.
100%.
To help other people out there, to support them or find support. And I think it's not just about supporting all those people out there. Like I said, man, supporting each other's grind as well. Local businesses, all those little things that people don't understand yet, who will eventually see, later on in the future, hopefully, is that, man, McDonald's and Burger King and all that stuff already millionaires, man.
Billionaires.
And I'm not plugging them whatsoever. You don't deserve no plug. You got your apps and everything out there. But honestly, our people need to take their money into other places. Town's Kitchen and all that stuff.
Town's Kitchen.
Those are the type of places, where we need to invest more with. And like yourself, Tolan, supporting all those up-and-coming people who's coming through.
Yeah, I think, especially with us as well, I think the one thing that Pacific Island businesses probably need to get into more is actually going out and finding investors, going out and actually, like you said, the opportunities aren't going to come to us. No. We have to go and seek that opportunity, man. And I think with us is that we get to a level of success and we're content. And then that's where you see all these businesses plateau out. And I mean, that's fine. And if you're comfortable with living within your margins, but what you got to be careful with and what you got to understand is that you're setting the platform or you're setting the lane for the next business coming through in the same industry or the same direction. So like if they see you leveling out, what do you think they're going to do when they get to a certain point? They're just going to sit there. What we gotta make sure and we gotta promote is that the grind will always be the grind, but make sure that we're always elevating. Make sure that month to month, week to week, year by year, that there's always another step to grow.
100%, 100% agree with you.
Nah, man, that's awesome.
We live in a day and age where the moment you see something, you're quick to post it up and write something and share your thoughts about it. There's one thing sharing your thoughts, but then there's also another thing of giving your opinion where you're critiquing something that you know nothing about. People need to understand those differences. And that's why open conversations with a closed group, your tight circle, it's better to do it in those places. You know what I mean? Not out in the open where people can hear everything going on and they can. That's where how all these social media fights and keyboard warriors come out. But we try and pull away from that. I mean, even something as small as seeing something online where people are sharing, and it's about our people and they're talking about each other. But you DM that person who that content belongs to, and you just say to them, "Hey, despite what's going on, just a small thing like that, it's all good. We all mess up sometime, whatever they think." Even a little thing like that can pull someone away from going through their phase of mental health.
Yeah, bro.
I like to always think about prevention is better than cure. If you can prevent it from happening, you won't have to deal with finding a solution to that, to cure it.
You won't deal with the consequences in order to get to the solution.
But I mean, not saying that it's always going to be perfect. But I mean, if we keep their concept in mind, we will be more supportive of each other and each other's grinds.
Yeah, man, 100%. Because like what I don't understand is like with the generation coming out now, it's okay to not be on the same page, but have a civil conversation regarding it. It's not about who can roast or who can personally embarrass the other. No, like what we got to understand, especially with the social media platforms, is that people might seem strong online, like you said. People may seem strong on the outside, but inside they're probably hurt, they're probably broken. And the reason why they're posting some of these kind of stuff is just to get a reaction or get some sort of self-validation that what they think is right. What we got to understand moving forward is that, especially with our generation coming through, we got to teach them it's okay to disagree. But just as long as you guys go about it in a gentleman or in a lady way fashion, that you respect each other's opinions, it's okay to not be, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be right, but it's okay to obviously, disagree. But as long as, you both walk away from the conversations, keeping each other's honor intact, being respectful of each other, that's all that matters, man.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Since we're on this subject, one person I like to think about is the River Jordan. How, just an example, how he's come into my FM, right? And I noticed the way he approaches everything. It's so, it's not sort of like pressing. It's not condescending. It's not dictating. It's more of a kind approach. Allowing people to, freely express how they feel. And that's the kind of people you need in the forefront.
I'll tell you this now. He's got greater things planned for him, because for him, he's never too much this way, too much that. He's always centered. He's always grounded. And the thing I like about him is, like, even when things are going really good, he brings it back. Shit may be going bad, but he brings it back. I remember last year there was and it's the worst thing about our people. It's like when someone shines, there's always got to be that person that tries to dim the lights on them. And someone must have said something or brought up some stuff that also River Jordan was like, must have been like, he must have messaged her or something, and she probably felt it was inappropriate, but he didn't have that intention. And like, she, rather than dealing it with him directly, she rather put up this massive post, 5 slides of all her feelings, and that's fine. That's fine to feel how you feel. But what we've got to understand is we've got to prevent the issue before it becomes an issue. So you message him directly. If you felt like his ways, his intentions weren't true to how you felt, or felt like it was making you feel, what's the word? Uncomfortable, then just message them directly.
I think that's the dangers of even texting and emails. And this is why it's very, very important to cross-check and pre-read everything before you send something off. Kids who are listening, or people who are watching this, need to understand texting and emails don't have a tone. Which means the way you read it comes off the way you read it.
How you interpret it is left up to the person reading.
Think of something that's bad in there. Try and read it in a kind way. You probably won't even think that was bad. You know what I mean? That's why it's more about how you take it as a person. If you felt like it came off in a way where it's offensive, message and ask that. Are you meaning this in an offensive way, or are you, because I don't know how to take this? Then you'll find out the answer. Man. We can't just always assume, you know what I mean? But I only brought him up because I really, really do put him up there of being very intelligent, being very aware of what's going on in society, in the world.
He's positive, man.
And he's a positive person, and that's the kind of people we know.
The energy is good.
I love the fact that despite what goes on, man, people need to understand. We're human.
But at the same time, haters will come and go. He's still there, man. And he's still reinforced on the radio ears. And everyone knows, as long as the people close to you know, or especially within the workplace, know that those are not your intentions. That's not who you are as a person. I think, a thing that people need to understand, it's not the thing I really dislike about a generation coming through is that everyone is quick to jump on board in terms of when it comes to putting someone else down. And that was one thing that really, I really disliked, especially when I saw the River Jordan, and like I saw heaps of people posting about it, talking about it, whether it would be on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook or other social platforms. It's like for me, like I don't know him, but I messaged him. I go, "Oh man, like this is I know this is not who you are, and I know what really sucks about this is that she didn't just approach you directly, and and like we had a little conversation. I didn't expect them to reply, but I was just happy they did it. But it was more like showing like support for him, but at the same time, like us as brown people, we shouldn't be putting each other down, man. And like it's okay to disagree. Like I said, back to what we said, it's okay to disagree, but just as long as we walk away with our honor and we still hold respect for that person. There are so many factors out there in society right now that's trying to put us down. Why are we jumping onto that same boat as well? And but yeah, man, thanks for bringing that up, because frick, I dislike it, man, so much here. Like when everyone tries to shine. Yeah, man.
I mean, it like honestly, it doesn't matter what someone's doing in life. Like you see, there's always people out there to be that nitty gritty. Oh, chuck him down there. Did you see what he did or she did? And I think when people do that, you ask them, "What have you done? What are you doing for our people?" I'm not myself. I'm not doing a lot for my people, but I try my best to be a good representative. Prime example is being in Australia, right? Being Pacific Islander. They would think that you would walk around in the city with all dressed up and whatever. That's just the mentality a lot of youngsters have these days. Me, walked around in a t-shirt, ear lover, lover, and jandals everywhere I went. I got eyes. Of course I got eyes. But I'm not going to compromise who I am and how I really want to be myself in a place where it's foreign to me. That's just dishonesty. There's no dignity in that. I carry my family and my pride everywhere I go. But man, I think in those journeys of whether it's rugby, where it's media or whatever it is, you will always encounter someone within their group. It doesn't matter where you go, on an acting job, who goes against what you believe in. And that's just the nature of the beast. You're not there to throw a protest outside and go, "We disagree." Nah, man. It's about acknowledging that, but don't let it come between. Carry on.
Just move on.
Must be done.
Yeah,
man.
And so, like, obviously, with we'll bring it back to what we first started off with. So, with your new job now, how has that been for you in this obviously couple months that you've been within your job, and how has that helped you understand this or come to grips with the beast that we call mental health?
It's real, man.
It's so broad, eh?
I'm telling you, so I see and I've seen a lot, being a support worker, and it really does make you as a person look back on what I have now and what I've had and how I take it for granted. Oh, I'm telling you, small things, just the small things, even little things like food and all of that. I mean, yes, the term you hear is, "Oh, these people in Africa with no food." Man, I think the term should be changed to this: "My neighbor's got no food." Because without you realizing, man, the person next door is actually going through that,
same thing.
Same thing. And it's real, man. It's as real as it gets. I'm fortunate enough to have my mum, who's a social worker, and my brother and my sister-in-law, who also work in that sort of, that firm. But man, being aware of all these things is crazy, man. It's really, really crazy. It's much bigger than people think. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just hope moving forward, like all I've been seeing is, I guess, is everyone bringing it to light. But I haven't seen, like you said, any prevention or entities that are looking to like actively go out and seek people who are going through tough times. But at the same time, it is, I hope that moving forward, especially with our younger generation coming through, that they are the ones to make it okay to come out and come be open and talk about your feelings and stuff like that. Because I know for our older generation, I know it's hard. Especially our older brothers and our older cousins, they're the generation that, were brought up on that tough love. And they probably weren't around So we got around that. It's okay to express. It's okay to be in one with your emotions. And it's that older generation and the younger generation that are coming through that I hope that they normalize it, man. To be okay and be open with your emotions and your feelings. Moving into 2021, man. What are your plans for this year? And do you have any gigs coming up? Let us know what's happening.
Yeah. Well, this year's pretty much started, and auditions for everything really usually kicks off, I think, next week fully.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, I know I've said it so many times, but it always comes down to faith also.
Yeah.
And being that kind of person, and I've always just left it to God.
Yeah.
I've just said, hey, Jesus, take the wheel. Pretty much, Jesus, take the wheel. And trusting His timing is key for me. If it doesn't happen, it could happen like 2 years from now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's about trusting the process, understanding everything. Yeah. So 2021 is more about just taking each day as it comes. I do have some sort of business plan in place for my own goals.
Nice.
Alongside one of my also Philip. So
Yeah.
we're tending to push that out hopefully sometime this year. But other than that, everything else just leave it in God's hands, really. And pray about it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I definitely know the business. Obviously, lane that you and Philip are trying to get into, and I hope nothing but the best. And obviously, I'll always be here to try and help out and provide any sort of advice if there is some needed. But in terms of, I know we spoke about this, I think last year as well. Are there still aspirations to compete this year?
Man, as in
fitness or, because I think you were talking about you wanted to go seriously this year.
Last year I was supposed to, and then the whole lockdown and everything kind of got in the way, and the dates of that, and then it kind of threw my prep out of the water. So I was just like, but this year, it's one of my goals. I think I don't want to water too many trees this year. My main focus is to water one tree at a time.
That's the one was.
But at the same time, kind of keep those other things in the back there and remind myself that it all
has to be watered in.
And
no, that's awesome, man. Because that's one thing I've always admired about you, as well as obviously your drive to be successful within your chosen career. But and obviously being a family man, but you're always training. And for myself, that's something that I'm gonna work on hard this year, and it's something that I want to link up with you about, because I know you're down pat when it comes to the nutrition as well as to the training side. For those out there that have got 2021 New Year's resolutions to train and to get into shape, what's your advice for them, also?
Also, I'm telling you, man, I think the only advice is to educate yourself.
Yep.
Don't follow all these generic diets or whatever you've been seeing. It's more important to understand yourself than to see what you saw. And it does. These 6 week, 7, 8 week challenges, they're awesome. They're good ways for people to engage and to kind of, for social people, like people who are antisocial, to be part of something where they're more open. Yep. It's good. I 100% back their stuff up. But what people need to keep in mind, it's a journey, man. It's a life journey.
Yep.
There will never be an end result. You got to continue to better yourself, not just physically, but the important muscles up here.
Yeah.
Main important muscle. So
that's one thing that I realize as well. Some of the challenges that I go on as well is it's a lifestyle change you have to make. It's not the 6 week or 8 week challenge, and you gotta change your habits and change your lifestyle in order to incorporate a healthier lifestyle moving forward.
Definitely. I think like even the small things, talking about training itself. My partner can vouch for me, but some days or some nights, it's even at that point where it's 2 a.m. in the morning, if I can't sleep, I'm literally training outside or in my room.
Yeah.
It's not for other people. It's for myself and understanding my goal. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I've got to continue to work on myself and my craft and everything that comes into place. But even those small things that people don't see.
Yeah.
That's important. Because I know everyone's for the gram and for the likes.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about what you're doing behind closed doors that really counts.
Yeah. No, 100%. Also, obviously, while we're on this topic of physical well-being, what are the demands of your industry and probably of your acting gigs in terms of what your physique should look like and stuff like that?
Oh, I think we're in the age where it doesn't matter what you look like. It's more about what you have to offer now. As opposed to what it used to be before. But in saying that, I think one of my main purposes of staying in shape is because of my craft and for the characters that I really want to play, is to suit that person. But it's a challenging one, eh? Yeah. I mean, I for one don't do any nudity whatsoever. I think I would go as low as just boxers. That's about it. But other than that, nah. And it's more about, like we talked about before, understanding your values as a person. And if it doesn't go with you or they just don't agree with it, then it is what it is. But I'm okay with everything else, just not that stuff.
No, that's fine. Because I know it'll probably be role specific as well. Like obviously, if you're like I know for the Michael Jones one, you have to be in Michael Jones' kind of stature and his physique, and he was bloody machine. What about for the hardball?
Well, I took it into my initiative to get more bigger. When I shot season 1 in 2018, I was training at that time at Oliver MMA, South Auckland. And
where's that one? Airport?
On same street as Chipmunks.
Oh, Manukau?
Yeah, Norman Spencer's.
Norman Spencer's Drive, I think so. I
think that's the drive, But I was training there, and the trainer there, John Hicks and his crew, they helped me get lean for that. But for this season, I took it into my initiative where I was like, nah, let's get buff. So I packed on 15 kilos, and to my surprise, I got there and those people haven't seen me since then, and they thought I looked huge. They were like, oh man, you got massive. And I thought, oh, thank you, Lord, I did the right thing. And that was kind of the approach that I wanted, where even the kids who watch the show, when they see season 2, they're like, oh, the dad is playing rugby.
He's getting bigger.
Because in season 2, it's talking about me. I play for first grade now. So showing those transitions and going back on, physical sense for the industry I've chosen, sometimes it's an individual decision too. Whether or how do you want to look for this, or then sometimes they're like, hey, I don't want you to be too big, just come in the scene. But I was glad I think one thing that really I was gutted about was the fact that you saw me, I had my beard really long, probably the same length as yours, and my hair was quite bushy, and I got there and I went for makeup check in wardrobe, and they shaved my head and shaved my beard till 0, and I was like, oh man, and I think those are the things that come with it, but I was gutted, so
that takes a while to grow a good beard as well, man.
And then now I've got to start again with this bum fluff, so
no, it's all good. Sweet as awesome. I think you briefly touched about it right in the beginning, but let's talk about Hardball. Hardball obviously is ABC kids TV show, which is blowing up overseas in Australia and obviously in other places that stream that network. Unfortunately, it hasn't come through to New Zealand, but tell us more about Hardball. Give us a more in-depth description and your journey within Hardball itself, how it came to be that you became the father, but at the same time, what your journey is like working with the younger kids.
It's man, when I remember when I first auditioned for it, right? And I left it. It was one of those auditions where you did and you forgot about it. And I got a call probably like 3 months later from my agent, Catherine Rawlings, who calls me and she's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that they want to cast you as daddy. And I'm like, oh, what's this for? And she's like, for the Hardball show. And I just froze there. I got goosebumps and I was like, no, this can't be real. I was like, are you serious? She says, yeah. Oh, sweet. So the director called me the next day and I had a conversation with him. Well, I ended up going to do season 1. And as soon as I get there, the first thing they're saying is, "Oh, are you the one from New Zealand?" I was like, "Yeah." And can you say fish and chips? And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So I started, getting to know everybody on set. And the kid that plays my son, his name is Semisi Chicken. So he's the nephew of the Michael Chicken.
Oh, the league player?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's the nephew. And he's such a talented kid. Never done acting in his life. First time gig.
Yeah.
But one of those guys who's like straight Disney character. You know what I mean? Just like that.
Picks it up straight away.
And he's Samoan Maoli. And his family is originally from New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
But they moved to...
Yes. The Michael Chikem and their family there. I think they're East Side boys.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Some of the boys I know from work, they used to all hang out back in the day out of GI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pamure, sorry.
But man, he's a really good kid, and he's just one of the many talented kids that I got to meet there. But there's also an awesome actress from New Zealand as well, Maria Walker.
Yeah.
And she played the auntie.
Yeah.
But this is my first time doing a gig with her, and we got to know each other. The director and the producers are awesome. But for myself, it was the experience itself in a whole was a bit surreal for me, because I've never got to experience that kind of things where you turn up and the trailer's got your name on it, and then they put you up in an apartment, very flash apartment. Going back on our upbringing, just raw. We were poor. That's it. We were poor, and just all those things. Not taking it for granted. You get to use like a fresh towel every day. Those little things, But it was crazy. And I got to see so many different places in Australia that I actually thought I would never visit. And I got to meet a lot of nice people. And season 2 in a whole was good as well. It did come with a lot of challenges, taking into consideration the COVID stuff. Yeah, I think that was the only challenge in itself, having to always remember, hey, move back, you can't talk to each other with your face mask. But playing that character was, it wasn't challenging at all. I think, if anything, it was the best thing that could have ever happened in my acting career.
It's an awesome TV show,
because I got to be myself, and there was no pressure at all. The directors and producers trusted your capability, but also it's a kids show. It's not about you. It's about the kids. So it's all about letting them shine. And having a kid like Semisi play his character so well, I mean, I'm telling you, he made us look good. We didn't even have to do much. But one of the main things that I love about any gig, and I think a lot of the Usos can agree with me on this, is the food. Telling you, the food is crazy, man. We got to have like Thai Mondays, Mexican Tuesdays, like those kind of things. You know what I mean? And man, I'm just a foodie. I'd rather have that than anything else. That's just who I am. But yeah, man, it's the whole experience in a whole is amazing. And I hope that one day they get to stream it in New Zealand. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It would be a great opportunity for our people to see, a face they can relate to from overseas. So it's good.
100% agree with you, man. And I'll be saying that all day, 100%. But like, the thing is that the storyline encapsulate a kid from New Zealand playing handball in Australia. Like, why aren't we streaming a TV show which centers around a kid of New Zealand descent and has like obviously an island father or an island Māori father or a Māori auntie, island Māori auntie, but it's something that embraces our culture in a main TV show. I knew the only reason why I knew it was big was obviously I watched it on YouTube and I was like, man, this is such a awesome. Like, I watch my kids watch the Disney shows. I watch my kids watch all these shows on YouTube. And I was like, man, they would love and eat the show up. By the time I went to go show them, it was already brought down. So shout out to whoever put those 2 episodes illegally up on YouTube. But like, I loved the show, man. And it was just me obviously seeing you on the camera and seeing you on screen, but it was just even better seeing like just our culture and just New Zealand, and then obviously when I saw how it won awards, man, and I'm like, bro, come on.
I think that even that itself caught me off guard, because like I said, it was COVID, right, last year, And I just happened to check Instagram.
Yep.
And then boom, it was right there.
Yeah.
Hardball wins an Emmy Award.
Yeah,
and
bro.
that's humongous. And for myself, I look at it and go, man, you're part of that.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
But in a humble way, it's like, it's very humbling that I got to be part of that. And
for 3 months you had it on the back burner. You didn't even think about it. Yeah, that's
pretty much, man. I was supposed to travel March 2020. Then COVID hit, and they kept pushing the date, and eventually something opened up. So, yeah, man, I'm so grateful. Matt and Guy, who's actually the writers of the script and director, producer as well, they play 2 characters in there as well.
Yeah.
Steel and Stone. And Hardball's not the only show they've done. They've got other short films out there who they've done amazing jobs on. But them as people, as individuals, away from the whole work, I really appreciated that part of being part of Hardball, where I could actually have a proper conversation with them. And they really are those comforting kind of people, because they're parents themselves. So it was really the highlight of, so far, that's one of my highlights for my acting career, as being part of Hardball. And yeah, like you said, that storyline itself, it's unbeatable, man. Yeah. We all played handball.
Exactly. So it's a story about handball, and just how like everything around break times and lunch times at school revolves around handball. Man, and it's so funny because it's like it used to be like that back then in school. Like it would be competitive. Who was the best at skimming? Who was the best? And then I playing foursquare, and it's so cool that they've brought that to light, because like, yeah, our generation's coming through now, especially with our little ones. Like, they're all technology babies, you know. And if we can get that TV show over here and broadcast it, man, I want the kids to be outside. You know, I want them to
encourage
more of that kind of stuff. And shout out to the directors and the writers of that show for even, you know, if they have that mindset or have that envision that will get our kids to be outdoor kids again. Man, massive shout out to those guys, man. 100%.
I agree, man. I agree. It's funny because when the show, we were screening season 1, some kids actually came up to me and asked me, "What's handball?
Yeah,
is this something you do in New Zealand?" And I was like, "Man, in New Zealand, man, that's all we played as a kid. I was a kid, and everyone gunned for each other to get to Kings." But I think what really buzzed me out was when they did certain moves, and I said, "No, that's called a double dragon. Now, if you surf too high, that's called a mountain. You know, hit the line, you got to start again." They're looking at me like, "Are you making up your rules?" This is not Southside rules. I'm like, no, that's literally
universal in New Zealand.
That's universal for us, man. And we grew up on that, you know. And I taught them another game, and I said to them, you know, if you go home and you tell your parents to get 2 4x4s, but cut it short and nail them together, you can play gutter board. What's that? I'm like, oh man, you know, just those small things. You know, that's definitely things that I truly believe originated from New Zealand, man. That's us. You know?
And it's funny that you bring that up as well, because I remember back then when we were young, like, and they probably will amaze all the kids now, but like having a tennis ball. Solely, that would make your school holidays, like, because you could do so much. Like for me, when I play with my cousins, like my cousin, he stays out in Otara. All my holidays, I would go to his house, tennis ball, play handball, we'd play gutter board, we'll play backdoor cricket, we'll play throws and catches. Like, man, like just with one piece of ball, you know, and like it just shows like how our humble beginnings, our upbringing, and it's like. It makes us cherish everything more that we have now.
Yep. That was it. Run to a square and who's got a ball?
Yeah, exactly.
The same kid has always got the ball.
Same kid's always got the tennis ball.
Yeah, you can play with us. Come play. You know, it's like, not that we were the cool guys, but it's just like, it's funny how our handball can create friendships.
Friendships, all right. All good, man. Sweet. So, hopefully New Zealand do get to the opportunity to stream Hardball here, man, because honestly it's something that we're probably definitely missing out. And like I said, like it's already finished shooting season 2. When is that set to drop?
I think it's going to drop 2021, probably like March, April. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that, but hopefully early this year. So I'm telling you, the storyline takes a massive jump, but it's awesome, man. It's awesome. And I also got to meet a few island boys on this season too.
Man.
Tongans, Samoans who live in Sydney have never been to New Zealand.
Oh, shoot.
But they literally look like New Zealanders, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, it's an awesome show. I'm actually looking forward to it dropping too.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen season 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think one thing about me, I never watch my own shows.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just something that, it's a tiny cringe thing of myself that I go through, but
Well, hopefully if the borders do open up, you can take your family over there and then obviously get your kids to be able to watch the TV shows, even though if you can't, at least your kids can. Well, from here, I say, Tamu Noa Proud, man, I wish you nothing but the best with the season to come. And I hope that it does become like a massive TV show because, man, with the storyline and with the writing and the acting, it definitely deserves a lot more credit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, before we wrap up, was there anything that you wanted to talk about also?
Also,
yeah.
Honestly, I just want to say thank you for having me on your show, Mausa. I really appreciate it. This is actually my first podcast, my first actual live interview that I've ever done.
Oh, nice.
So,
also.
Thank you for that, my brother. Appreciate it. And wish you all the best for your podcast and your show in Tamil Nu'u as well.
Sweet as brother, all good. And like, you know, you're always awesome, man. So I appreciate you making this time off for me, man. Before we quickly wrap up, anyway, I'll ask you a couple of quick fire questions, and then we'll finish it on there. What's your favorite part of the week in terms of for gym?
Favorite part of the week for gym is Friday.
Yeah, why is Friday?
Oh, because it's a whole body circuit and I feel great. And by the time I go home, I have a couple of ciders just to reward myself.
Nice. Yeah,
makes my weekend feel longer.
I know you're adamant trainer, and I know you look after your body quite well. And when it does come to that time to treat yourself, what's your treat meal or what's your treat day like?
Oh man, it's either BK chicken with extra mayo. Yeah, or I love hot wings, bro. I'm a wicked wing guy, so that's my go-to meal with hangover whatsoever is hot wings.
You heard of Chickies, bro? Chickies.
No, what's
so
that?
If you go to the Snap Fitness out in Manukau, Chicken.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, not Chickies. Chicken. They're wicked. Their wings.
My brother told me that.
Bro, I reckon.
I still haven't grown up.
I think they are a bit better than Wicked Wings.
Ooh, man,
only because since we've had Wicked Wings for ages. But if you have those ones, it's a lot more consistency in terms of.
But I have my ones with choice sauce.
Eesh.
I always go buy the choice sauce and I dip my hot wings in there.
Yeah, bro, you got to, man. And the hot chips as well.
Oh, mate.
Too good there.
It's good for your diet.
Good thing with you, man. You bloody earn it, man. Not like us. But no worries. This year's the year to get back into shape.
It's the one, man.
Just for this year, what's some goals that you want to knock off? You've been holding on for like probably a couple of years now.
I want to fight again. Yeah. I want to jump in the ring.
What kind is this? MMA or boxing? I know you're a boxer. Yeah.
I want to do a boxing match.
Yeah.
I haven't done an MMA match yet, but I would love to do a boxing match.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the goals I secretly have in my mind that I want to tick off this year. So.
Oh, nice. You let us know. Also, we'll definitely jump on board and sponsor any way that we could and help out. But I'll probably recommend maybe try reach out to like those charity organizers, man, and like I know you're already in the shape for it, bro, and I know you do have a bit of a boxing background, so no, you definitely, if that's something on your cards, bro, go for it, 100%.
It's just a goal of mine. Yeah, I love the thrill.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Nice. What's some advice that you can probably give to some aspiring actors out there or actresses that are looking to try and crack it in maybe the film and TV industry?
Networking is key, man.
Yep.
I mean, being not just knowing the top names or the famous people or the people you see on TV, even networking with people who are intellectually in that sort of career path. You know, they're great writers or they got great stories. Working together makes it much better. You know, like we said earlier on, if no opportunity comes, create the opportunity. But if they're still trying to figure out how am I supposed to get this there, it's networking, man. Simple messaging to some people, telling them, well, that's the approach that I would assume. But also having an agent is important too. I'm lucky. Catherine Rawlings does a great job for me. Her and her team, AC and Cole, really appreciate them. But yeah, there's all those things. And also when nothing's happening, it's something that I've had to learn too, is to keep and continue to work on your craft.
Yep.
Whatever it is, whether it's I need to practice my American accent, so be it. Look in the mirror, practice your American accent.
Yep.
Movement, do dance. If you want to do dance, up to you.
Yeah.
But those little things, like we said earlier, and also things you do behind closed doors that no one sees, that all adds to your profession. So
nice.
yeah, leveling up there.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. While everyone else,
level up.
exactly. While everyone else is resting and you're working on your craft, that's awesome advice. Also, what about what's another good question? Oh, man, I just had one. Damn. I'll edit this out as well. Bro, I just had a good one. Oh, yeah, sorry. So what's your I wouldn't say warm up, but before your dancing gigs, before your performing, is there like a pre-ritual?
Man. One thing is I always pray.
Yeah.
Definitely always pray. But I also do a couple of press-ups and squat jumps and, get the blood flowing, stretching. Tongue twisters is something I've learned from the boys, from people. So I carry that everywhere I go to help with articulation and humming as well. If I have to sing, I just hum rather than sing, just to warm up my vocal cords. Yeah, so I taught Wayne and James. But yeah, all those little things. That's what I do before any performance.
No, awesome. If obviously we do like it to enjoy like a cold one now and then. What's your favorite go-to?
My drink?
Yeah, man.
Well,
I know you like a bit of a mixer as well. Eh?
I used to be. I used to be Jack Daniels and Coke Zero with squeeze of lime or lemon. Yeah. But I went from having a couple of Limas and the Bolvi bottles,
Yeah.
But now for this year, 2021,
ciders.
My goal is I actually quit beer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bro.
So I quit beer for 2021 just for the year and see where I go from there.
Yep.
But I prefer long whites, vodka and cranberry soda.
Yeah.
And the Pal section of
I haven't tried that, but I heard that's pretty good.
It's really good, man.
Yeah.
I just had the watermelon one yesterday.
Nice.
My sister-in-law and my partner. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Refreshing.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a drink that obviously low on calories but still holds on to the same taste.
Yeah, well that's why I love it.
Yeah.
It's low on calories. It actually feels like it's healthy when you're drinking it.
Oh, it's true. How much percent is it?
I think it's like 4.5 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I mean,
is it like it's like vodka mixed with like soda flavored water? Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And a hint of, they've also got like lemon and another one I can't remember. But,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that's my buzz this year. No beer.
Oh, yes, sweet as. I think I'll probably jump onto the same thing on me.
I hope it helps with the weight.
Yeah.
Because since season 2, I put on 13 kilos. That's not normal for me, I'm serious. I kind of feel like I have to go back to...
Oh, bro. Yeah. The thing I know about you for sure is when you put your mind to something, bro, you'll get it done, man. And that's a habit that I'm trying to inherit from yourself as well. So it's one reason why I had you on board. We'll definitely... Nah, safe, man. Cool, man. Final question and then we'll close it up. What's one... actually, give me 3 words that will probably describe your journey so far. So it's not a sentence, just 3 random words that describe your journey so far.
Faith, grateful, anxiety.
Yeah. And obviously faith, I know you're a man of faith, and obviously definitely you as well as yourself throughout this podcast. You're grateful for all the blessings that you have taken. But anxiety, why anxiety?
Oh, because I don't think people realize is that being anxious about anything, it's normal.
Yeah.
But I overcame severe case of anxiety myself with season 1.
Yeah.
And that was something I suffered from for a very long time, for many, many years, that no one knows about. So season 1 really, in Hardball, that was the biggest kind of turnaround for me in my career, because I was content with being alone. It got me into my faith bubble, where I was more in a closer relationship with God than I've ever been. And it taught me to be, more focused on that, and it helped me overcome that.
Yeah.
Because one thing about anxiety is that you hate being alone. You hate being by yourself.
Yeah.
You always need someone to be there. But I overcame that. I'm not saying it's gone forever, but I'm just saying it's something that I'm very grateful about, that I kind of come to learn to control. So, yeah.
Nice also. Just to before we wrap up, man, what's a quote that you can that's probably guided you, or a quote that you can share with our followers and our listeners today?
There's a quote that I always use also, and I don't even know if it exists out, because I think I made it up. That's the honest truth. And a lot of people have, asked me whether it's my fitness journey, whether it's your fitness journey, career path, or anything. Something I've come up with myself is, with God in the plan, how can I fail? And that's a quote I've always lived by since the day I thought everything was going bad, because I lost my faith. By the time I came back, everything started falling into place.
Amen also.
So, yeah. With God in the plan, how can I fail?
That's awesome also. And thank you for sharing that with us today. And like I said also, right from the beginning, it's been a privilege to even have you come through. I know we've been messaging back and forth, trying to make this happen. I think we've cancelled on each other like 3 to 4 times already.
4 times.
Four times, yeah.
Sorry,
So hey, look at the day that we had to link up on it.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday, and we're making it happen. And it's awesome that you got to come here and share us your journey, and obviously share with everyone your journey. Share with a few, Easter eggs in terms of some knowledge. As well as sharing us, different parts of your journey so far. And like I said, right from the beginning, also it's a privilege, and this podcast is here to highlight all our brown brothers. You're representing not only your Samoan, but your Niuean and your cultural heritage. So, mad respect and mad love for you, also, and I wish you nothing but the best in terms of what 2021 has in store for you. But at the same time, with Hardball, man, I hope it's like a 10 season series, man, and more, because it deserves to be, man. And
thank you, sir.
I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for coming on board.
Thanks for having me, my brother.
No worries. So today's episode is sponsored by Tamala New Apparel. Feel free to jump online and check out our Facebook and as our Instagram store. Our Shopify store will hopefully be on by now, so there will be a website, and definitely look forward for this episode to be dropped. If you need to follow also Daya, he's on Facebook.
Or Instagram.
Instagram mostly. And what's your handle on Insta? Is it Daya_Tumo? Yeah.
Kind of private, because long story short, I control who gets to see my life. So.
Hey, that's that, and that's awesome, man. When you're in that industry and everything else is publicized, you gotta have a bit of privacy. So that's awesome. Also, I always just love to chuck people up, and get you some followers, because at the end of the day, man, it's all about people following your journey as well, man. So that's awesome. Thank you for coming on board, and thank you for making time. Also,
thanks for having me, Marcel.
Thanks. Right.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you for the time.